Chairman, thank you. Madam Secretary, thank you for appearing. We're here to talk about IPAB, Independent Payment Advisory Board, not today at least, to express our outrage over Obamacare in general, but it seems like the discussion has expanded a bit, maybe on both sides of the aisle. I must say I'm a little bit surprised on the question in regard to the difference in a voucher and premium support. You seem to struggle just a tad over that. A voucher, as I understand it, is sending someone a check on a monthly basis to spend on health care at their own volition. They could basically, I guess, sign up for holistic medicine. They could have an accessibility bag around their neck. They could essentially do anything they wanted to with that voucher. Whereas premium support in the plan for prosperity, the Republican plan to reform and save Medicare for our current seniors and our future generations, is talking about premium support where the Center for Medicare and Medicaid Services basically where the senior designates they want to purchase their health insurance, a plan that best fits their needs. That premium is advanced to the insurance company as payment for those services. It doesn't go directly to the patient. So that's a big difference in a voucher versus premium support, and I think we should describe it accurately. IPAB, in its report to Congress, is charged under Obamacare with including, and I quote, recommendations that target reductions in Medicare program spending to sources of excess cost growth. Madam Secretary, can you tell us where in Obamacare the term excess cost growth is defined?
Sir, I don't know if there's a statutory definition. I do want to respond briefly to your premium support issue.
Well, no, look, we're beyond that. Now, my time's limited, and I'm just going to help you on this second question. It is not defined. Excessive cost growth in Obamacare is not defined. Peter Orszag, in fact, President Obama's former OMB director, has defined the excessive cost growth in Medicare as principally the result of new medical technologies and services and their widespread use by the U.S. health system. That's what Peter Orszag thinks is in regard to excessive cost. Let me ask you this question. The head of CMS, Dr. Donald Berwick, interim head of CMS, and it's likely that he will remain interim, has been quoted as saying, most people who have serious pain do not need advanced methods. They just need the morphine and counseling that have been available for centuries, end quote. Do you believe, Madam Secretary, do you believe that limiting advanced methods to sick seniors in favor of morphine and counseling is an appropriate way to reduce Medicare costs? Yes or no?
Congressman, I believe that seniors have a right to make choices with their doctors, which is what they do now under the guaranteed benefit program, under the Medicare system. Under an insurance plan, that would no longer exist. And I would also suggest that premium support typically means that there is an enhanced benefit. And as
well,
you know,
Madam Secretary, I agree with the first part of your response. It should be between the doctor and the patient, and you don't get that with IPAB. Madam Secretary, I'm aware that the statute states that IPAB cannot propose plans that ration care. Can you tell me where the word rationing is defined in the Obamacare statute?
It is not defined, sir.
Well, you're absolutely correct on that. It is not defined. During questioning before the House Budget Committee yesterday, you referred to IPAB as merely a safeguard and a stopgap, noting it will only come into play if Congress failed to reduce Medicare spending. In fact, wouldn't be recommending any cuts for the next 10 years. Yet on Wednesday, April 13th, President Obama, in laying out his plan to reduce health care spending to the American people, stated that IPAB was a major plank in his plan to make additional savings in Medicare. Madam Secretary, if President Obama had stated publicly that IPAB is a major plank of his plan to save Medicare, and you are saying that IPAB, it's just a backstop to Congress coming up with a plan, should the American people infer from that Obamacare is the president's grand plan to save Medicare? Give me a yes or no, or if you want to expand a little bit and the chairman will allow, I would like to hear your opinion on that.
I don't think there's any disagreement between the president and my statement. The way that the Independent Payment Advisory Board is structured is that recommendations are made on a yearly basis, and recommendations are only impactful if indeed Congress has not taken the advice of the independent actuary that per capita spending has exceeded a targeted goal. If indeed the IPAB recommendations are not ones that Congress chooses to accept, they change the recommendations or move in a different direction, and the recommendations never have any impact if indeed cost trends are below IPAB. Below the independent actuary's targeted goals. So it is a backstop. It is a backstop for Congress taking the responsibility to keep Medicare solvent into the future. If indeed they don't act, there is a mechanism where these recommendations become law, absent Congress rejecting the recommendation.
Well, I've gone way over my time, and I'll just close out by saying I agree with Mr. Pallone and Ms. Schwartz that we ought to repeal IPAB. It is wrong-headed, it is boneheaded, and I yield back.
Chair,